This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter. Welcome to the sports catastrophe on this day. And there will be on this day too, May 21st. Not May 20th. I know I feel bad for not having it on this day, but there wasn't anything nice. So anyway, this is the 1979 Montreal Canadiens celebrating after their Game 5 win over the New York Rangers to win the 1979 Stanley Cup. Now you may be wondering, why am I doing this game? Well, I mean, the Cup Finals ended it. But the 1979 playoffs / finals were a huge thing in Canadian history. Know that. Montreal winning their fourth straight Stanley Cup. That's hard to do. Which is weird because the next team that won the Cup, the New York Islanders, did it 4 straight as well. In fact, this was a good time to be an Original Six fan. You know, Boston, New York, Chicago, Montreal, Toronto, and Detroit. 3 Original Six teams made the semifinals, which would not happen again until the 2014 conference finals. You know, the semifinals, because the Rangers took on the Habs in one semifinal, and Chicago took on Los Angeles in the other one. Of course, LA is not the Original Six team, and worst of all, Chicago. I mean, LA, the non-Original Six team, won the Stanley Cup. So yeah, 3 Original Six teams made the final four. It was the Battle of New York, Rangers and Islanders, and the Habs Bruins. Of course, the Islanders are not the Original 16. It could have been 4-4. Well, the Habs had to take down the Toronto Maple Leafs in the preliminary round, in the quarterfinals, and the Blackhawks also lost in the quarterfinals. So basically, you had 5 of the original 6 teams in the quarterfinals. Detroit being the odd man out, but Detroit had suffered through a tough time in the 70s and 80s. But anyway, yeah, that's amazing how 5 of the 6 original 6 squads got to the quarterfinals. So the 1979 playoffs the teams were ranked 1-12 on regular season points. The New York Islanders would have won the President's Trophy if it was awarded in 1979, but it wasn't. It was in the 80s when it was first awarded. And basically, they would have suffered the President's Cup curse. Team with the most regular season points not winning the title. Montreal, surprisingly, was 1 point back of the Islanders. But the Islanders were in the Campbell Conference, and Montreal was in the Wales Conference. It's kind of weird how the Islanders were in the Campbell Conference, and basically that conference was home to the Norris and the Smythe, which had like the team, like the Norris division, like Chicago, St. Louis, and all of them. But yeah, Boston won the Adams division and were 3rd in points with 100. Now the 1-12 on regular season points wasn't fair because Chicago won their division and ended up having to go into the preliminary round, which was not fair. No, sorry, they did. I think they did they? Yeah, division winners made to the quarterfinals. But why did they say that? Oh, I guess because of the points and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah, the 4 teams. So Philly. Yeah. So okay. Never mind. Anyhow, the Flyers took on the Canucks in the preliminary round, and Vancouver shocked everyone by winning Game 1 at the Spectrum. And everyone thought, wow, the Canucks might actually shock the Flyers in the playoffs. My Philly won the next 2. Rangers took the best of 3 first-round series against the Kings, winning Game 2 in overtime, which got them to the next round. They crushed the Kings 7-1 at MSG. The Leafs were not supposed to do well against the Atlanta Flames, but Atlanta, just like normal, had a good regular season but a crappy playoffs, as the Toronto Maple Leafs swept them aside in the best of 3, and I believe that the Flames never won a playoff series in Atlanta. Anyway, Buffalo and Pittsburgh would play. Pittsburgh would win on a George Ferguson goal that actually was the series winner and sent Pittsburgh to the quarterfinals. The others would take on the Hawks based on points. We're having two division winners face each other, but based on points, the others had to play the Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks had nothing. They only scored 3 goals on the New York Islanders. And I believe was it Billy or was it Chico? Billy Smith. Billy Smith and Chico and Billy were platooning Chico Rush and Billy Smith. Wow, for the New York Islanders. Montreal and Toronto, having the quarterfinals and the Leafs getting swept aside. Boston taking on Pittsburgh and sweeping them easily in 4 straight. And the Flyers and Rangers, but the Rangers needed 5 games to take care of the Flyers. Flyers won game 1, but the Rangers won the next 4. Then in the semifinals, the Battle of New York, Rangers versus Islanders. Everyone thought the Islanders were going to stomp all over the Rangers. It was 2-2 after 4 games, but the Rangers won at Nassau Coliseum 4-3 and then won at home at 2-1. And then Montreal took on Boston. It was one of the most iconic series, and I already mentioned that in the in the one about Don Cherry and how he lost his job. So the 79 Stanley Cup Finals happened. I think I said this, but anyway. So it was a battle royale. Rangers were up. Rangers won game 1 4-1, and Ken Dryden was chased from the nets for Buddy LaRock, and it was like shocking. Worst of all for Montreal fans was that game 2, Buddy LaRock was going to be the goalie, the starting goalie. But then, as Canadians were watching the game on CBC, we heard Dick Irvin say that there's been a change in that. Ken Dryden's in that because LaRock got hurt at warm-ups. Thanks to Kitchener Doug Riceborough, he shot a puck too high up on LaRock during practice. So basically, LaRock couldn't play. Dryden came back, and Dryden was fantastic. Game 4 was crazy between the Habs and Rangers. It went to overtime, and Montreal thought they won the game the first time, but it was waved off. People thought the puck went into the net, but no, the puck somehow got off John Davidson's blocker, and the colors were wrong. So anyway, the Habs ended up winning that game on a Larry Robinson goal, and that actually worked. And the Habs won 4-1 in that famous Game 5 42 years ago. Bob Gainey was named Conn Smythe champion. Yeah, the Habs, that was the end of the Habs dynasty. After the game, Lemaire, Cournoyer, and Dryden all retired. Scotty Bowman would then head out of Montreal towards Buffalo, mostly because he was upset he was not given the Habs GM spot when Pollock retired. So he went to Buffalo. Boom Boom Jeffrion was named head coach of the Habs, and it was amazing. But unfortunately, he had stomach ulcers and basically couldn't coach, so they gave it to someone else, and that person, I think it was Lemaire. But anyway, Montreal ended up actually doing well after Jeffrion's disappearance, and basically did well. But yeah, when you look at the roster for the Habs, you had at center Pierre Mondeau, Doug Riceborough, Doug Jarvis, Jacques Lemaire, and Pierre LaRouche, which is weird that Pierre LaRouche, but you know, he was better. He was a better player for other teams, but basically he was young and immature. That's why he left the Habs. Wingers were Guy Lafleur, Yvon Lombard, Yvon Cournoyer, Mario Tremblay, Rajan Houle, Cam Connor. Weird name, but he did score that double overtime goal against the Leafs in the playoffs. Steve Shutt, Bob Gainey, Pat Hughes, and Mark Napier. Pat Hughes and Mark Napier both would be Oiler fans. Oiler guys. But anyway, defenseman Brian Engblom. Yeah, that Brian Engblom. Guy Lapointe, Ron Langway. People forget he was a Hab before he was a Washington mainstay. Serge Savard, Larry Robinson, Gilles Lupien, and Rick Chartrand. And the goalies were Ken Dryden, Bunny LaRock, and Richard Sevier, who was a spare in the finals. Cournoyer only played 18 regular season games and missed the rest of the year because of a back injury, but his name was still put on the cup. Sevier was the backup to Ken Dryden after LaRock got injured. That one. They had a guy named Dan Newman, number 26, who played for the Habs in 16 regular season games, but didn't qualify. So yeah, it's amazing. Dan Kelly would be the guy who did the play-by-play in the Stanley Cup Finals, even though Danny Gallivan, the voice of the Habs, was still around and all that. Well, I didn't know that. ABC was going to broadcast Game 7. I did not know that. That was weird. But, well, it wasn't needed because the series ended in 5. Who knew? But anyway, yeah, the Habs, their dynasty just ended. They won 2 cups. in 86 and 93, but they were basically Cinderella runs. And basically, when they were strong, they were just not good in the playoffs or were overconfident, such as 1981 against the Oilers when Sevigny said that we'll put Gretzky in my back pocket. But basically, Gretzky put Sevigny in his back pocket. I'm Jeff Diamond. I'll do